Good afternoon, everyone. This is Advanced Spanish, as you can tell. I'm Tom Brudenell, and I guess I'd like to know who all's here. So if you can just speak up on your comments form, or however you do that. Do you see them individually, or do they have to say so? Just post your name, please, in the comments. Is anyone there?
We've got a few, yeah, but I don't.
But they're not identified. How many?
2.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and start. I made a mark on page 352 at 4B, number 4B. That's where we stopped. So before we go any further, I need to know if you have any questions up to now. Questions or comments or difficulties? Requests to repeat something? Okay, 4B, page 352. Hace 10 años, si usted hubiera sido presidente, ¿qué habría hecho usted? You have to be able to understand that. It's a complex compound tense in the past. And so, if we go to 4A, si usted fuera presidente, ¿qué haría usted? If you were president, what would you do? And the answer was, if I were president, I don't know exactly what I would do. It's a good thing you're not president. Hace 10 años, si usted hubiera sido presidente, ¿qué habría hecho usted? 10 years ago, had you been president, what would you have done? And of course the answer is, si yo hubiera sido presidente, hubiera sido presidente. Why is it hubiera? Why is it in the imperfect or the past subjunctive? Because it's an if clause contrary to fact. Remember that situation. No sé exactamente lo que habría hecho. I don't know exactly what I would have done. Habría hecho. That's the compound tense, have done, only in this case it's would have done, because it's the conditional habría. I hope you understand that, because if you don't, we need to do some work on it. Si usted estuviera en la luna, quisiera regresar a la Tierra. If you were on the moon, would you want to return to Earth? And the answer, sí. Si yo estuviera en la luna, quisiera regresar a la Tierra. Yes, if I were on the moon, I would want to return to the earth. Then they switch gears. Si estuviera en la luna, no, well, 5B, la semana pasada, si usted hubiera estado en la luna, que habría querido regresar a la tierra? Last week, had you been on the moon, would you have wanted to return to Earth? So, now you get the compound tense, would have been. Not simply if you were on the moon, but if you had been on the moon, would you have wanted? Habría querido. Si yo hubiera estado en la semana pasada en la luna, habría querido regresar a la luna. The first C is yes. The second C is if I had been on the last month on the moon, I would have wanted to return to Earth. Questions, comments? Do you understand the tenses? Six A. Si tuviera hambre, ¿a dónde iría para comer? Si yo tuviera hambre, iría a la cafetería a comer. If you were hungry, where would you go to eat? If I were hungry, I would go to the cafeteria to eat. Anteayer, day before yesterday, si usted hubiera tenido hambre, if you had been hungry, literally, if you had hunger, right? ¿A dónde habría ido a comer? Where would you have gone? ¿A dónde habría ido? Anteayer, si hubiera tenido hambre, habría ido a casa a comer. I would have gone home to eat yesterday if I hadn't been hungry. Si usted estuviera enfermo, ¿se acostaría? Sí. Si yo estuviera enfermo, me acostaría. If you were sick, would you lie down? Yes, I would lie down if I were sick. Notice that in English, we're supposed to use the subjunctive, but some people don't, because I don't think they understand. Rather than saying, if I was sick, if I were sick, is the subjunctive in English. So you follow that hint from the subjunctive in Spanish. You don't get away without knowing the subjunctive in Spanish. 7B, si hubiera estado enfermo, ¿se habría acostado? If you had been sick, would you have lain down? Si hubiera estado enfermo, I would have lain down. Now here's an English difference between laid and lain. Lain is what you do yourself. Laid is what you do to something else. If you had been sick, would you have lain down? Now, a lot of people say, I would have laid down. But that's not strictly the proper English. So if you need an English lesson, let me know. One hand up in the audience. Lectura. El enamorado y la muerte. Oh, how nice. please signal that you have read this poem. You have to signal that you did. You simply say yes or no. No answers? We'll interpret no answer as no. Therefore, your homework is to translate this entire poem into English. Written English. I would like you to understand it in Spanish without resorting to English, but I don't have any way to gauge that unless you write your answers in Spanish. Maybe I could assign written homework. El enamorado y la muerte. The enamored man and death. Un sueño soñaba anoche, sueñito del alma mía, soñaba con mis amores, en mis brazos los tenía. Vi entrar, señora tan blanca, muy más que la nieve fría. ¿Por dónde has entrado, amor? ¿Cómo has entrado, mi vida? Las puertas están cerradas, ventanas y celosías. No soy el amor, amante, la muerte que Dios te envía. Ay, muerte tan rigurosa, déjame vivir un día. Un día no puede ser, una hora tienes de vida. I was dreaming a dream last night, a little dream in my soul. I was dreaming about my love and that I had in my arms. And then I saw a woman so white, whiter than cold snow. Where'd you come in? How'd you get here, my life? The doors are closed and the windows and the grill work. I'm not love, lover. Rather death that God sends to you. Aye, death. Oh, so rigorous, so strict. Let me live one day. A day it cannot be. 1 hour you have of life. Muy deprisa se calzaba, más deprisa se vestía. Ya se va para la calle en donde el amor vivía. Su amor vivía. Very quickly he put on his shoes and even quicker put on the rest of his clothes. He took off through the street where his love lived. Ábreme la puerta, Blanca. Ábreme la puerta, niña. Wake up. Open the door, white one. Open the door, girl. ¿Cómo te podré yo abrir si la ocasión no es venida? Mi padre no fue al palacio. Mi madre no está dormida. How can I open to you when the occasion is not right? It hasn't come. My father hasn't gone to the palace and my mother is not asleep. Si no me abres esta noche, no me abrirás. Ya no me abrirás, querida. If you don't open tonight, you will not open to me any longer. La muerte me está buscando junto a ti, vida seria. Death is stalking me, but next to you, I will be life. Vete bajo la ventana, donde la brava y cosía. Te echaré cordón de seda para que subas arriba. Si el cordón no alcanzare, mis trenzas añadiría. Go down below the window where I wove and sewed. I'll throw down a cord of silk so you can climb up. And if the cord doesn't reach you, I'll add my tresses. La fina seda se rompe. La muerte allí venía. Vamos, el enamorado, ya la hora está cumplida. The fine silk break, and here comes death. Come on, lover boy, the hour is up. So I would like you to write answers to the questions, the 12 questions. That will require you to thoroughly read and understand the poem and formulate the questions to the answers to the question. In the line 3, soñaba con mis amores. Soñaba con mis amores. What does that mean? In Spanish, you dream with, you don't dream about. Soñaba con mis amores. And why is it plural? Why is it amores plural? You don't always take everything literally in poetry. I need questions. Just put a short narrative, what you understand about this poem. We need some feedback to continue. something to turn in the things at the front desk?
Can you maybe, it looks like some people are maybe just now getting on. Can you review some of it prior to the poem?
No, there wasn't really much there.
Craig Edmonds is asking, why does he refer to himself as death?
Himself, the poet. Okay. What line do you take that from? Where do you think the poet refers to himself as death? And what is the other word for the poet here in the poem?
So if it's not the poet referring to himself as death, who is death? What is
Okay.
death?
Look at the fifth line. Vi entrar señora tan blanca, muy más que la nieve fría. What does be mean? What is it? The preterite of what verb?
I think it's a little delayed here, but it says, no soy el amoy la murete? Murete?
I'm not quite sure what the comment is about.
Is there a line that says that? No soy el amoy.
No soy el amor. Not amore, that's Italian. No soy el amor, amante. I'm not love, lover. Death that God sends to you. Let's go back to the beginning. El enamorado y la muerte. Okay, the lover and death. Un sueño soñaba anoche. Now, who's doing the dreaming here? It's the poet, right? The enamorado. Because he says, soñaba con mis amores. I was dreaming about my love. Que en mis brazos los tenía. Whom I had in my arms. I saw enter a woman so white, whiter than cold snow. So I asked, how'd you get in, my love? That's just a way of addressing. How'd you get in? my life. The doors are shut, the windows and the grills. I'm not love, lover, death that God is sending to you. Ah, death, so rigorous, so awful. Let me live one day. Déjame vivir un día. Death replies, no puede ser un día. It can't be a day. You have 1 hour to live. So what's confusing here? When he says, how'd you get in, love? But that's not capital love. That's just an address. How'd you get in, dear? How? Where'd you come in? How'd you get in? I'm not love. I'm death that God is sending to you. No. Let me live one day. You can't be. No way. You have 1 hour. So then what happens? Muy deprisa se calzaba. Se ponía los zapatos. Más deprisa se vestía. Ya se va para la calle en donde su amor vivía. Ábreme la puerta, Blanca, my white love. Ábreme la puerta, niña, dear girl. How can I open if the time has not come? My father didn't go to the palace, and my mother is not asleep. If you don't answer me tonight, if you don't open to me tonight, you will never open, you will no longer open to me. Death is looking for me. Next to you, it will be life. Well, go down below the window where I sewed and knitted. I'll throw a silk cord down to you, and if it doesn't reach you, I'll add my tresses to it. So the final thing is the silk breaks, and death is already there, and says to him, "Come on, lover boy, your hour's up." La hora ya está cumplida. Read that poem carefully and answer the questions in writing so you can read them next session. You got a whole week. Poetry is not easy. It's not like reading prose, okay? So you have to work at it. And you have to probably use a dictionary to look up words and look up alternate meanings of words, because dictionaries give you more than one meaning. But you also have to interpret it in context. You have to picture the scenario, okay? So first of all, read the first 2 lines, or the first 4 lines, and that sets the scene. I was dreaming a dream last night, dear soul of mine. I dreamt of my love, whom I had in my arms, etc., etc. Then all of a sudden, this very white woman comes into the room and identifies herself as Death. And gives him a sentence. So he rushes to get ready to go to his lover's house, and she's not ready, her father is not away, and so she throws the thing down to him and it breaks. He's out of luck.
End life.
But the value of the poem is not in what happens at the end. It's how you get there. It's the whole trajectory of this dream scene. That's what it starts out as. So they can seem very real. So he's put this dream, shall we say, this imagined dream, into a poem and made it into a story, an incident. We've all had dreams where we are glad we weren't in that situation for real. So it's not too hard to imagine this. You really have to work at understanding it in Spanish. You can't just translate it. You have to do that to interpret it, but then you have to reread and try to kind of begin to embrace it in the Spanish itself. So if you go through and answer the 12 questions in Spanish, that'll be a good way to work your way through the poem. So with an entire week, I don't suggest you do it in one sitting. I think you do it a little bit each day or two. So 2 questions a day would do you. That's 7 days, 12 questions. And you may have to look up words that aren't in the right-hand column just to understand, if you didn't when you saw it in the first place. This is in my experience where you not only learn more about Spanish, but you learn about poetry itself. And if you're not practiced in reading English poetry, it's yet another hurdle. But just think of it as another step removed from the straightforward, objective reality. This is a dream, first off, but our dreams can seem pretty real, especially when we're threatened. But I just think that it's worth your while to do this, and so we'll check back next week. Any questions before we go? Any comments?